Hello and welcome back to SJ Cartier Limited Combos. And today I'm going to give you, so I showed you in my last video what happened to me when I went to a free comic book day and how I felt I was judged in the shop by the members of staff and the other comic book collectors. And I showed you exactly what happened with the police when they attended to a civil matter and how I was mistreated. And that's like certain thing, one of the instances that has happened to me as a black man since I've moved from Birmingham. Today I'm going to give like another incident that happened to me and kind of show like people that know me and people that don't, certain of the things that actually happen in my life that I don't really talk about. And even as a black person, certain things we have to actually go through and put up with. So I went to Birmingham one time with my family, my partner and the little one. And on the way back, it was kind of a late night and we jumped on the train. As I say, you know me from now, I don't currently drive. So I jumped on the train back from Birmingham and we had to come through Bristol. As we was coming through Bristol, we had to get off at Bristol and jump on another train forward to get home, as we live in Wiltshire. So as we was jumped on the train, we were sitting on the train for quite a long time, to be extremely honest. And my partner and the little one were both actually trying to sleep, funnily enough, because it was like late, it was like 10 o'clock or something. So they were both had a long day trying to sleep and I was just relaxing, obviously keeping an eye on them and keeping an eye on everything because the train was quite busy. I kept hearing like a load of drunk people coming in from the back and they were being very loud. I don't actually drink no more, and even when I drunk, overly drunk people was not something I liked. Yes, I understand people like to have fun. I was very loud when I'm having fun and I may drink, but then there's a way to actually carry yourself, I'd say, when you are drinking. And even there's a limit that we should all understand. When we get to that limit, we kind of aren't ourselves and things come out or actions happen. So I was just listening and I heard like a group of I think it was about a group of 10 people on average, between 7 to 12 people on average, variety of male and female. And the higher percentage of these, most of them were above, I'd say, without knowing, above the age of 40. Yeah, I think there was about 3 of them that were probably under the age of 40. But I believe the rest of them, there was over 6, 7 of them that were over the age of 40 or around that age of 40 years old. And they were talking to a young child, 2 young children. Let's get this straight. When I say young children, as I am 37 now, at the time I was 35, I think. To me, young child is anyone below the age of me, yeah? So I see anyone below the age of me as a child because they are younger than me, and I see anyone older than me as my elder, whether they are one day older than me or 100 years older than me. And I heard the actual elderly drunk people trying to persuade the young girl that was had her bags going back to what I presume to be university, and the young boy who was also on his own, he was going back to university because it was around Christmas time. So a lot of people were travelling back and forth to university. And they were both keeping themselves to themselves, but for some reason these people that were overly drunk were trying to persuade this young boy and this young girl who were sitting opposite each other on different seats, weren't together, didn't know each other, were trying to persuade these 2 people to get into a relationship, saying they think that these 2 looked good together. Now for me, as I say, I don't drink, and even if I do drink, I was drinking, I'm a very protective person of people, and as I say, younger people. So for me, when I heard this, I actually spun around and I'm saying, can you just leave them alone? Like, leave them alone, because the young kids, they're obviously not interested in the conversation. They're replying to be polite, but you could see on both of their faces that both of them seemed awkward. At this point in time now, I started getting a backlash, being told, oh, am I jealous? Am I wanting them to try set me up? At this point, obviously, I'm sitting here, of course, with my partner and my child. So, my stepdaughter. So, as we're on the train, we're there as a family. So, for me, it was like very rude for them to try that, and it did upset my partner a little bit. Where she's saying, asking them like, can you not see that I am sitting here and he has a partner? Why would you even try that? So we left it at that. We left it at that. But then for me, I'm very, what's the word? I'm very inquisitive for one. And I'm very, as I say, number two, protective of people, especially people that I feel need protecting. So as that conversation had left, and now I heard them now trying to still talk to these two young kids, it kind of annoyed me, and I asked them to please stop. And it was quite funny. When I spun around, I remember that one of the women was one of the elderly women that I previously remember travelling on the train, being drunk, and I believe all of them were from Salisbury in Wiltshire. And I feel like they just felt very probably snobby and whatever, and tried to judge me by my response to what they were doing, because I'm judging them. So I started getting now backlash and a lot of words, to the point I'm saying there's no point these women are talking, because to be in fact, you are always drunk on the train. You're quite shameful to see that you're always drunk, and it's quite appalling to think that you've got men with you, whether they're your partners, your children, and they're actually accepting of your mother or your partner acting like this in public. And that's when certain of the men started to jump up and talk about, I should get off the train. Hello. I should get off the train. No, I ain't getting off nowhere. And in fact, it got into an argument. And this is where, like, in my next video, I'm going to go into what I watched yesterday. But the point of what I'm trying to get at was, the only reason they were telling us to get off the train was because of the colour of our skin, because they were being very righteous of saying, where are you going? You shouldn't be on this train. You lot need to get off the train. And the words and vocabulary they were using without saying the word, yeah, was obviously disturbing for me, my partner, and the little one. Luckily for us, as I say, there were other civilised civilians on the train, and I want to give them a big clap, because I think if it wasn't for some of them, this situation would have been a lot more serious than it actually turned out to be. Let's just say that for starters, yeah. It would have turned out to be a lot more serious. And luckily for me, they came and they were like, asking them why they're being so racist. And the white bloke, because remember, it was a load of white people, but it was a load of white people that jumped up to ask these other white people, why are they being so racist and so judgmental? And of course, when you call someone racist when they are being racist, they want to pull some kind of card of, oh, I'm not racist, what do you mean? And they want to act like they are now angry and upset because you have called them out for their action. It's like saying to someone, it's like me, I'm black, so I don't care if you call me black, because I know I'm black and I love that. It's like saying, how to explain it? Like saying I'm Muslim, but I'm Muslim and I ain't hiding it, I'm happy. Could be like saying you're straight or gay and you're straight and gay and you're proud of yourself. So when they're stating like, oh, they're getting upset about, oh, we're being called racist by another group of white people that weren't together either, that's something we have to point out as well. this other group of white people that jumped up to say they were being racist were not together. They were from different groups. They were travelling individually, and some of them were together, male and female. And because of that, that got into a little dispute where, funnily enough, the white lads started arguing and fighting on the train. Like, at this point, go on, baby, because I see you want to say something.
I don't really know where to put it now because you've passed all those bits, really.
Yeah.
But I just thought with the racism thing, I think there were a lot of judgments coming from those people, not just the colour one, but I also think it's that thing of, oh, the quiet Muslim is not going to say anything. And I think that's how I felt. It was like, kind of can do what you want because she's just a little one there in her scarf.
Yeah.
And I think that's a general thought with a lot of people, is that any of us in our scarves are so timid and quiet and so controlled, is the few, that we're not going to say anything. I do think it was quite a shock for them from what I saw from their faces when I did get annoyed and said something.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
but
she looks like that. They don't talk like
that. So let me over-explain what my partner's trying to say there and what she has said. Basically, when the woman was trying to say, am I getting jealous and are you trying to would you like me to set you up? As I say, my partner got upset and she stood up and had a go basically at the lady and said, can you not see me here? But my partner is saying, and something I actually understand what you're saying is, because my partner on a normal day when she's out on the street has a hijab and looks predominantly Muslim, they believed she was some quiet Muslim young girl who would not say something, and possibly even for me then, that I may not say something and I would take the chat because I'm with my family even, like I'm with my Muslim woman, who for them, they may think you're younger than me. When in fact you're older than me.
Yeah.
So they may think, you know what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah.
So, you know, like if you look at me with a younger girl or look at me with an older woman or any man, if you look at a man with a younger girl, it just doesn't sit right. Like, no matter how.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
my back was to them, so it's not like they would have known until I turn around. And once I start speaking, I mean, I suppose I did sound young sometimes.
Your height as well, though, and you got to think, you was just I had you and me just cuddled or whatever, you know what I'm trying to say? So we were just chilling, like Aaliyah was curled up in the corner as well. Yeah. I remember she was leaning on the end of the window because that's where she wanted to sit. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So I understand what you're saying, the opinion in that, but then they don't know you.
No.
Do you get that?
And I think it shocks people because obviously we've got a lot of people in that area as well that have slight accents along with their look. And
that's what I was.
And because people always thinking I'm a Moroccan Muslim because of my light skin. But when I open my mouth, it's very much London, and I think it shocks people.
I think that's what I was going to lick on. The point I was going to lick on there, was real life. Obviously, you may look at you with your hijab and presume you're not an English light skinned black, but you're half black, half Jamaican, half Italian. You're mixed, and you're not just a normal Moroccan or Persian or whatever they think you could be, and that could be the presumption, whereas you're not that person, you're from London. Do you get that? So even for that's not what they expect from you, because they're expecting you to be a bit reserved in yourself because they're not presuming you're an English person, which is the same kind of racial judgments that really they're trying to pull across onto you, that you felt that they put onto us as well, basically. Because even to the point, as I say, the men were thinking, because there's a group of them, that they're going to make me move anywhere. In fact, you're going to make me shout in your face and dare you to put your hands on me. And say, we ain't going nowhere. Point out that you're all drunk little fools.
It was very intimidating. It was quite scary.
Do you get that? Because it
was scary for us.
It was scary for you too.
Yeah, seeing you, because the people were very lovely. The ones that came to help me,
Yeah.
literally, the woman removed me,
Yeah.
pulled us back, stayed there, standing, but stayed. And she actually blocked where we were sitting. I think she had a feeling maybe I would get up again.
And I say,
and she kept me
that,
there.
I say that is my fault, because this is something I want to, because this is what my podcast is about as well. You know, I call it a podcast, but it's just chats. It's just open chats.
Yeah.
But is it a podcast yet? I don't know yet. I may put this one as a podcast. Just tag it as a podcast. But real life, I think that is like something that I need to work on, and even some of us from the roads need to recognise. Because I think, for me, I think my stubbornness in who I believe I am and how I carry myself, how I feel to protect, as I say, I was protecting someone anyway. So these are randomers. How am I going to protect the people I love and care for? It's even more, yeah. So that's how I feel. And in looking back in hindsight, the best option would have been to say, come on, babe, let's just move down there. Yeah? Come on, let's move down there. But for me, I ain't moving nowhere. That was the stubbornness in me, to the point I'm telling you both to sit down, and I'm saying to these, we ain't going nowhere, and if you've got a problem, you're going to have to try it. And that's my fault, I'd say, because I could have resolved that situation. It's not that I should have, though, because that's something we need to sit on as well, as whoever we are being judged for whatever we are. You don't sit down and allow it to be said to you, or actions to be treated to you, and allow it to happen. You don't. That's when it continues to happen. Yeah? So, I'm happy in what I've done, because none of you got bothered. I never got hit. You never got hit. They never got hit. One of them may have got boxed and kicked. They may have got in a fight. But none of us felt nothing. So, in the long run, nothing happened to us in the point that any of us felt any kind of damage. But then the lads that come to save us got into a fight. Even
and the woman who pulled me back got hit in the face.
Even a woman got hit by a man, which made me, I think that's when I kicked him. Keep it real. That was horrible. Yeah? I think that's when I dived up and kicked him, because I think I saw him diving, yeah. I think that's, yeah.
I think it may not have been like, obviously we didn't get any physical harm. I think, obviously I can't speak for you, but I think for me and it was the mental, the emotional was very, very difficult, because it weren't just coming from them. Then it came from, and I think as we saw, he calmed down after a while. Maybe he was just seeing how things were, and it kind of calmed him down. But when that officer first came on the train and was just so rude straight away to pull you, and then when I started speaking, he was like in my face. It really annoyed me, and it was like, hold on a minute.
So it's again the judgments again. So coming from we have to show
the
again.
People we're supposed to trust to protect us clearly do not protect us.
It's coming from my partner. Remember, this isn't me. This is someone that isn't no criminal, isn't just a normal person. Maybe me, you could say I was a criminal. I've had a bad past. I've done things in my life that, you know what, there could be judgments around me. We can understand where you may want to get them from. But with my partner shouldn't have to feel these judgments as a normal civilian. And this is why I'm even talking about this, because even like that last incident I showed you in my last shorts and in my last video that I talked about, there's a lot that goes on in misjudgments, and where you're being misjudged as a black person in public can then turn out to be being judged by the police and you were in the right. Because this is the next point in the situation. It went into a madness on the train. Police had to be called. Police had to come on the train and separate everybody up. And when the police came, as you just heard from my partner, some of them came directly from me, like I was the main instigator. And let's really look at the overall situation, yeah? I am there with my partner and a young girl. None of us are drunk. None of us are drinking. There is a group of loud, raw people who are drunk and visually drunk by the way they walk, they talk, they look. They are drunk. Why would you presume the black man with his family is the problem over the other 10 group drunk people? Why? Why would that be the police's first thought plan? Just like as you saw in the comic book shop, they came in to solve a civil incident and their initial rapport was aggression towards me. There was no mediation for me. There was no even mediation with even the woman even behind the till, because she backed her up and told her not to bloody give me my refund. She said no. So tell me, why is the judgments with the people and the police? Like, how do you get through it? By staying strong. Because I did get arrested for that, and the case was thrown out because there was no evidence that I had done anything wrong. In fact, I was just standing in front of my partner and the little one and holding my ground around people there, and there who were drunk. Yeah? And in the end, these racist people, I don't even know what happened to them. Yeah? I don't even know. But in the end, yeah, I think some of them actually got arrested as well in the end. But that's not on the same day. Like, I was arrested and de-arrested to attend because I was with my family. It was quite lucky. You had to sit down for ages though, but yeah, everyone else has gone on their way. We had to sit there and wait like we were the criminals. And for me, as I say, my life's changed from any kind of association with any type of police or association with anyone like in that type of life. Yeah, not to say I won't socialise with people I know and grew up with that haven't left the life. I'm talking about I don't socialise around getting myself in trouble for that life. Because we never forget where we come from. And neither does a lot of the normal people that we may walk around and work with. Because something I always think about with that, even for someone that was looking for a job in the local area and to have racial judgments seen noticeably in the area that we live in and in the local Wiltshire community, how will any of them want to give me a job as a black man? That's how I look to it, because I don't know who these people are. Where do you work? What do you do? What is your life? They could be judges, they could be all types of people that are shouting slurs, acting drunk, and thinking on a normal day that they can get away with it because of who they believe they are in a work day-to-day life. And it's the same with the police. They will mistreat and continue to mistreat until people stand up and talk about the mistreatment. So there's like a moral to this story as well. If you are someone that sees any kind of injustice for someone, stand up. Don't just stand there and sit back, because you could make this situation worse, but actually resolve a situation for many in the future. Because sometimes we all have to go through a little struggle to protect the ones coming up behind us. It's just part of life. And as I say, I'm very grateful for those people, because extremely honest, if it wasn't for one of those people, that stayed behind, the white bloke, yeah, who stayed behind to explain to the police how we was being racially judged, I don't think it would have went the way it went. Let's even put that in the situation. Let's keep it real. So the good heart of that man stopped me from getting into trouble for something that wasn't even my fault. And in fact, it was my fault because I looked at it and the same thing I asked him to do is the same thing I'd done to get in the problem. Now the young kids, even to think of it, let's overly look at it. I'm stopping them from bothering the young kids. They may be teenagers, they may be 21. I don't care. You're a grown-ass person and they are young. Yeah? So I'm jumping in to protect them and tell them to leave them alone, let them go about their journey, because you can clearly see on their faces they're not interested. That caused me to get into a problem. I had to go through that problem to stop them from having a problem. That then had other people jumping in to solve our problem. There was a lot of love in this, really, when we look at the story. People jumped in to save our problem, and now they started into the fight first because of the problem. And even in the end, if it wasn't a man stepping up to protect me, it would have been a bigger problem for me again. Because no one knows what everybody does. Nobody knows what people have. So anything could have happened in that day. Anything could have happened in that day. So they protected me. I protected the two youngers. The group of white men and women, the elderly white men and women, protected me and my family. And then that white bloke protected me. And in the end, I'll give a round of applause to the transport police. They done their job. They done their job. They saw through the situation and read the situation, because I believe they also looked at the evidence of how we were. We were just tired on a journey. We were just sitting on the train. If you look at how they were acting from they came into the train station, shows who was the main instigators. And to be honest, to persecute someone for protecting someone is not what you're there for. That's what you're there to protect. I shouldn't have to be trying to protect the younger generation, but I will. So it's quite funny that I tried to protect two young white lads, a white lad and a white girl. I got racially judged by the white people who were abusing the young kids. Then we had a group of white people protect us. It shows the verity of what, not everybody's racist. And you know what? I was going to do a video separate from it. I'm going to continue with it now. Yeah? Let me find the group's name first. There was a march yesterday, yeah, that I was watching on YouTube. Yeah. And it was a march to do with regards the Rotherham and Telford rapist, and the groups that were selling kid girls, or what they were doing. Wait, let me look it up. The Football Lads Alliance, that's what they're called. They marched yesterday to go and show support against child prostitution and child sex trafficking, basically. And for me, when I was just browsing the YouTube live to see who's on live, and I thought, oh, what's this? There's a march. Let's have a look what the march is about. And I've jumped into the march, and I understand very much so that the Telford people and the Rochdale people are Asians. I won't call them Muslims, they are Asians, yeah. They are from an Asian background, yeah. Whether they are Indian, Pakistani, Turk, I don't really know. I've heard, we've all heard about it on the news, but for me, I don't really focus on who these people are because it gets me upset when I'm looking at these things on the news. And I think these are people that are walking around me, and then I get very suspicious of the people who are walking around me. So preferably, I try to stay away from these type of news stories about these people because I just rather stay away. I don't want to presume someone looks like someone, and then it's a problem. Yeah. So I do stay away from these news. But obviously, I'm against that. I'm against any type of child prostitution, any kind of paedophiles. I'm against any kind of rapists. I'm against any type of that kind of things, mental, anything that makes people abuse. Any type of abuse, I'm against. Yeah, especially with youngers as well. Yeah, especially with youngers. Adults, yes. Abuse can happen to adults. Adults can talk up, even though they may find it harder. Adults may be able to talk up. It's a lot harder for a child to talk up. Let's get to it. It's a lot more damaging to a child. It's damaging to an adult. We can't compare it. But the children need to be protected. The children. So when I jumped into this, I was hoping to hear I didn't realise it was about all the Rochdale and Telford thing. I just presumed it was about child trafficking and there was marching to protect the children and whatever. And I jumped on, and as soon as I jumped on, I'm seeing bare Islamophobes. Pure talk about get all the Muslims out of this country. Pure talk about it's always them. Obviously, as I say, I'm a person that I can't take stuff, whether it's online, I have to type and respond. I can't just let it go over my head sometimes. And whether it's in person, I can't let it go over my head. So for me, I have to respond because I'm a Muslim. And I do not agree with none of this. So please don't tell me about all Muslims need to come out of this country because I'm a good Muslim. And regardless that I'm born here, I'm a Muslim. So I take it as if you want all Muslims gone, you want me gone.
Can I just say quickly
before
you carry on? Just to state as well, just because someone says they're Muslim don't mean they are. Anyone that's doing those kind of criminal things is not a Muslim because we are a peaceful faith and we do not do those things.
That's what we
do. So they are
that.
not Muslims, they are fakes.
That's what we do. So real life, as my partner says, Muslims don't do these acts. This is not an act of a Muslim. Yeah? And to overstand that is the same way we understand that, okay, then what's his name again, the BBC geezer? I forgot. Jimmy Savile. Is every white bloke that looks like Jimmy, every white bloke that follows it, that looks like him, a paedophile? Is everybody that works at the BBC a paedophile?
And they also come in all colours and races as well.
The point I'm trying to make, that I'm trying to say here is, if you're going to judge those groups up there that are doing, I don't even know the word for it, horrendous things to kids, and because they're Muslim, you're going to class them as all Muslim the same, then you know what? We might as well class everybody in Rochdale like that. We might as well class everyone in Telford like that. We might as well class everybody in the BBC like that. Where's Ian Huntley from? Where he's from, like Yorkshire or something. Wherever he's from, class everybody like him from there then as well.
Everyone, everywhere. Then you end up going around the world because we've got the Bill Cosbys, we've got the P Diddy's,
we've got the Diddy's now. We've got
the R Kelly. We've got the it just is ongoing.
It's ongoing. I'm gonna say some points.
And they were all blacks, but let's not forget the amount of white people that we have in our areas that do that also.
I'm gonna point out, we're not even gonna talk about Prince Andrew, yeah? But let's keep it real, yeah? Let's keep it real. Some of the comments I said yesterday that are real to the point and which disturbed me to the point, in the end, I left. I was in the live for a good 45 minutes, yeah, chatting, watching, listening, because there was a lot of deep stories. There's like a one girl who went through this that was talking, and applause to her. Like they didn't want to bring her out. She came out and she was talking about how you can protect the kids and little things how she felt. And it's like, it's deep, it's the realness of it. Like this, there's a lot of deepness going on there and a lot of realness. Like I did not know. Like they said, yeah, that, and I don't know how true this is, yeah, they were pointing out that there was a lot of people that have been arrested for these charges, but because they wanted to keep the crime numbers down for that ethnicity, they didn't charge these people.
Oh my God.
And they're saying, you know who the person was that was the person in charge of the police thing at that time? Keir Starmer. Yeah.
Wow.
So we didn't. I learned some stuff there.
Wow.
I learned some stuff. You learn some stuff.
Wow.
You realise there's a load of cases reported and they're not followed up on because they don't want to seem racist. And they're being racist anyway, but they don't want to seem racist. You're being racist, but you don't want to seem racist. Because in my last video and in the last incident, I'm pointing out how the police came and they had a racial judgment in who was the instigator and who was in the wrong. So you're judging people on a normal day-to-day basis, but when it comes to actually protecting, which is their job, they're talking about they don't want to be racist.
That is shocking, and he's running our country now.
And now
That's
he's running our country.
terrifying thing.
It's scary, isn't it? It's scary. So, you see, when I was watching this, there was a lot I learnt from this about how this country actually works, and I'm disgusted. I can't lie, I'm disgusted. I really am. But then, it's getting overshadowed, even from my cloud of my mind. I want to focus on the kids. I'm thinking if I was in London, I'd be marching there now with me as a Muslim man, yeah? Me as a Muslim man, marching to protect the kids. And I won't be chanting, "Oh, get no Muslims out." I'm chanting, "Get all the pedos out." So tell me why I'm hearing a lot of people chanting about getting Muslims out and send people out of the country, and we're not talking about send all the paedophiles out. So what? The people in the church, the people in the courthouses, the people in managers of businesses, people that do modelling and all these. Look, there's a load of bloody paedophiles in a load of things, load of jobs. There's teachers out there now around kids who are paedophiles and they're not being notified. And even something that even annoyed me, real life, it annoyed me, was they can change their name.
Identity. Yeah.
What the hell is going on here? Yeah? They are allowed to change their name. So how do we know who they are? How do we know where they are? Who's allowing them to change their name? Are they getting up to this stuff? Because I think they may be. They say, "Oh, we'll help you because if you don't help me, I'll talk about you, mate. I'll talk about the videos you sent me." Pure coercion. Pure coercion. So I learned a lot from watching the video. I also learned that, you know what? There is a lot of racism still in football. And there's still a lot of racism in this country. There's a lot. And even to protect the ones that we say we care for, the younger generation, it can't even be put aside for that. And it was disgusting to watch and listen to. And when I heard that dude's name, Tommy Robinson, that was it for me. I'll come out of there. I heard someone talk about, oh, they've arrested Tommy Robinson for this and they don't listen. He deserves to be in jail. He's a full-on racist. He may talk about he don't care about the blacks and the ones that are born here, but he just wants a white England, he does. I'm sorry to say to anyone watching or anyone that thinks any different, England ain't white no more. Let's get that straight. Yeah? England ain't white no more. England is actually very much multicultural. Because I'm England. Look at me. I'm England. I'm English. I was born here. So England is not as light as everybody may think. Some may think. So as I say, in life now, there's a lot of people that missing like the main thing. Like even for when I'm talking about, oh, if it was a group of black drunk men and women chatting to these young white kids, how would people have reacted? Imagine it was Muslim ones. How would they have acted? But it took the one English black man to step up to tell them to leave the kids alone. So who's the problem? Who do we need to get out? All of the paedophiles, all of the rapists, all of these abusers, all of them. No matter where you're from, no matter if you're Muslim, Christian, Jew, no matter if you're black, white, Asian, mixed race. Whether you're tall, long, fat, slim, rich, poor, have 10 houses, have none, drive a Bentley, drive a Porsche, drive a Fiat, walk, train, but don't give a damn, get them all out. Every one of them. Every one of them. And I'd love it if we could just be told who they all are. Why are they changing their names? Why? And why are we missing the point of looking in the right places? Why are we not looking in the right places? And then when we see things about Justin Bieber, and we're like, oh, Justin Bieber. I can't believe he went through this. You can believe because you watched it happen. We all watched it happen. We watched all types of celebrities that are on TV still now saying that this boy is handsome and that they would sleep with Justin Bieber, whether he was there or not. They're being very open, just like Harry Styles when he was young as well. There was a lot of grown-ass women that are saying they would sleep with these young children. And they were saying it live on TV. We were watching them try to kiss him and hug him and all these things. All the videos are coming back out now. These are things we all watched. And we saw nothing wrong with it then. But now everybody sees something wrong with it and it's being in public eye. Now we all think something's wrong with it. I'll be very open. I've spoke about this with my partner. I'd be very open. As a young bloke, yeah. As I say, my partner's 13 years older than me now, yeah. So I've always liked my older women anyway. So you see, as a young bloke who 17, 18, 19, you could say, you know what, I rate Justin Bieber. Because I'm a young kid who would think, you know what, I'd like to sleep with a Cameron Diaz or Jennifer. I don't know if these were the people. I'm just giving you examples. You get it, like of people that maybe as a young kid you may have admired, like Beyonce. You may have admired. You may have admired a Rihanna. You may have admired Cameron Diaz. You know what I'm trying to say? These are just random names, yeah, that young blokes may have admired. Yeah. But these are us at our immature. I'm talking about me at my immature age, where that's something I admire. I'd want older women as a younger boy. But does that mean that the older men should think that's okay? does that mean that the older women should look at that and think that's okay? And that's what we have to look at. How many of the elder generation were around this, having conversations about this, saying, that's okay, laughing at it, thinking it's all fabulous. Everything's fabulous. But it's happening. And now you see the meltdown of Justin Bieber. It's like, oh, now we're worried about what we were seeing. Well, we need to speak up a lot more. Like, as I said, I spoke up to protect those. If they had disagreed with them, imagine they came with that aggression to them and just came aggressive and loud to them. They wouldn't know how to handle it. They came a bit more to me due to possibly the race of us. But they were still aggressive to them. That's why I had to jump in. They're saying, no, we don't want to know. No, I'm all right. And they're still asking, go on, you look, leave them alone. Leave them alone. Stop over-sexualising the kids. And then talking about we want to get the paedophiles out and marching. So when I heard Tommy Robinson and all that, I came out of there because I left with one more statement. My last statement was, I'm gone now you've mentioned this guy's name. And the reason being, it seems like there's more focus on one problem and not the focus on the main problem, the kids. The kids. The kids that are getting abused around the world, not just in England, around the world by adults and even sometimes kids themselves. We need to be aware. We need to keep an eye out for everybody, not Muslims, not just blacks, not just whites, not just Christians, not just tall, not just short, not just old, not just young. Everybody. Keep an eye on me. I hate them. Keep an eye on me. And I hate them. But watch out for everybody. Like, don't look at what they look like. Look at their actions and what they say. Look how people react around them in person. If someone's very loud and then they're brought around someone, or someone comes around and they're now very sheltered, question why. Ask yourself why. Look at how they are interacting. Don't make fast judgments, because it can cause a problem.
Can I just say, with you saying that, please do not, like you've already said, don't make fast judgments. Don't judge all Muslims, because there are Muslim women going around right now taking their scarves off because they're scared they're going to get beaten and attacked. And it is a really, really concerning. We should not feel like we have to do that just because
what did I just
people
see
are
there
blaming
then?
us for these things that other people are doing.
So wait there was a clash as well yesterday. They actually clashed. Let's have a look. Footballers demo sees police clash with counter protesters. So there was counter protesters there yesterday. And see, this is the problem. So I'm seeing now that the counter march people were causing a problem, it seems, and it's quite funny that they're saying they were causing a problem. So yeah, real life.
What exactly are the counter ones saying? Just so it's clear for everyone.
I think they're just marching against
the football.
Yeah, because I think, you know what it is, and this is why I come off it, because it's the football lads against grooming, yeah, that's what they're called, yeah. The reason I came off, as I say, the main point of what they say they were there for was not the reason, in my opinion. Yeah, a lot of them there are for the right reason. Let's not got that. Let me get this straight. There's a lot of people there for the right reason. But just like they're claiming all Muslims are wrong, in fact, there's just a bad bunch. And just in that same group there's a bad bunch. They don't care about the kids. They just want to shout slurs from behind the screen or from in a group where they feel protected. Because they're punks. These people work with Muslim. They go in the shop with Muslim. They will drink with Muslim. They don't even know who's half Muslim and who's not Muslim.
Which is a very good point. Because if you so disagree with Muslims altogether, why do you buy from their shops?
Why?
You know you're going into every corner shop, you're going into every this and that to buy from them.
Why? Okay then, you want all Muslim, anyone marching talking about all Muslims out, just don't support a Muslim ever again in your life. Don't work around them. If someone works in your job and your boss is not on the same thought plan of you, leave your job. If you work for a Muslim man and he's paying your wages and your mortgage, leave, because you want all Muslims out. You want more Muslims out. So leave. Leave your job. Stop renting your house from the Muslim man. If this is what you want, and this is what you presume, because as we say, there's a lot of bad eggs in all, what is it?
Everywhere.
In all, what's the word?
No.
What's the saying? Bag egg in the what? Even a baddie, I can't remember.
I don't know.
There's a bad something in everything, and
there's bad, good and bad everywhere. If you don't like Muslims, don't let them fix you when you go to the hospital. When you're dying on that hospital table, say, I'd rather die, don't operate on me.
Because that Muslim's a paedophile.
Because you're Muslim, full stop. Just don't touch me.
And that's how silly it is.
Don't touch me.
Or is it not that silly because I should walk past every white bloke that looks like Ian Huntley and that and say he's a bloody paedophile and rapist? Shall I walk past everyone that looks like him, or every elderly white man and say he's a paedophile? Should I look at every musician like P. Diddy, who's a producer, and say they're some rapist paedophiles? We can't judge everyone by the same stick. Because for one, luckily for us, as they were trying to chant Christianity, yeah, and all these things, yeah, should understand even in Christianity, we're all different and we all make our own minds up. It's our own plan. None of us are the same. This is very much known in any religion. And even if you're an atheist and you don't believe in any religion, one thing you do believe in is you're different from everybody else. And there's nobody like you. Even when there is someone like you, they're nothing like you. They may be loving exactly everything you love, but they don't look like you. They may look everything like you, but they don't love everything you love. Just to give you two things that just, you can never have something that everybody loves and everybody hates. And if you do, that's very rare, but you never look the same.
Everyone's an individual and you don't have to jump on the bandwagon because everyone else is.
Yeah.
Just because you're in a football group doesn't mean because all the football lads are having a go that you have to copy them and have a go.
It's more...
It's ridiculous. You're adults, you're not
It's
children.
more the fact of the racist ones were thinking it's time to come out to party. It's time to come out to party. I'm surprised they didn't have their white cloaks on and that. We know the flags were out. The flags are out. For what reason? It's about the kids. It's not about England. It's not about being British. It's about protecting the kids. It's about being morally right. Go on, sorry.
No, yeah, you're right. It is about the kids and it makes you wonder. Obviously, in those groups, there's probably some that are okay and are not like
Of
that.
course.
But it does make you wonder for the ones that are only in it for to cause trouble and have a fight. If those children, those girls had not been white girls and had been maybe Muslim girls, would you have the same fight for them because they're children?
Oh, that's a good point.
I don't think so. I think for some of them it would have been a case of, well, that's their people.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
Would you stand up the same? Because it should be any child, no matter where they're from or whoever. That child could have been a child from that person's family. You should still have the same support for that child.
I love to do that as well, you know, and understand that, because I know, like, when something happened in Birmingham where the Asian man had the girls in the shop and that, it caused riots in the whole of Birmingham. Yeah? Riots. People lost their life due to that incident there. Yeah. And a lot of people came out, but Birmingham is very multicultural. Yes, there's a lot of people up there with that same England white blood thought plan, but there's still a lot of people that will march with black and Asian together for the good of the people, and especially when it comes to children. And you said a very good point there that I want to focus on as well, real life. If this was a group of white blokes who had done this to a group of coloured people, children, would those same people be marching? And also, and let me get this analogy in correctly. If these white blokes were either English or Polish, think of it for both situations, yeah? This was a group of white English blokes, yeah? Would you be marching talking about all English blokes need to leave the country? And if it was a Polish person, would you be marching now to get rid of all the Polish?
Or even just English blokes getting locked up. But also, not even just that, because yes, that's a point as well. But what I meant was, even if it had been those same group of men that had done it to their own culture children.
Black children. Just
those
black children.
Or
any,
wherever they come from, their own. That's what I was talking about.
Even to Muslim.
Would you have the same fight for these Muslim children because these so-called Muslim men were doing it to Muslim children? Would you have stood up then, or would you have said that's their problem, it's their people?
That's a very good question, isn't it?
Because it should be about the child, not what group they're from. It's still a child. No matter what.
No matter what. No matter what.
Would there be as much uproar? Would these footballers now be going, oh no, the children? Would they?
We don't know, do we? We'll have to find out. But yeah, that's just a little... And I want to get off this like kind of race talk, even though it's something very deep and it holds a lot to me. But as I say, I want to save it for live. I have a lot of deep conversations I want to do on live, because at least then, when people have got things to say, we can respond to them with a proper answer instead of typing. We can respond to them correctly and give people knowledge. Because as I said to one person, you just keep copying and pasting the same comment that makes no sense. And you're just trying to put down and talk about would Allah lie, and if not, what the hell are you on about? I'd love to teach you some knowledge. I'd love to have one conversation with you. Just a proper conversation where I listen to you, you listen to me, and we get our opinions across.
And that's going into a whole other massive ball game, because
I've done this.
Would Allah, Allah is God. It's one being.
Yeah, but we're not going.
God is like, what do you
mean?
You
have to stop, Erica, because you can't even go. I've had conversations with Christian people like this about Islam and Christianity, and you see, one thing you have to realise when you're having that discussion, you can't confuse you can't make it as one, even though we know it's one. You have to talk as if, because remember, we believe in Christianity anyway, so it's not like we don't believe in the Bible. It's the fact of we believe the book we now believe more than we believe that, and follow that book more because that's a better way of life than what's being read in there, even though the Bible is still holy and still gives you a lot of good energy. It's just understanding, yes, we know Allah is God, but you know, like that separation, it just needs to be separated.
Kind of difficult,
you have to separate
some people
them.
are not there yet
Yeah,
to understand
so
and accept that.
You see, to not get into a debate, you have to speak to them as, yes, so what? Does God want you to do this? Doesn't really matter. You know what I'm trying to get at? Like,
that's what I'm saying though.
We have to have them.
It doesn't matter. It's
but that's the point though. It doesn't matter for us either. So to make it easier for them to understand, you have to talk like that with them, because otherwise they be confused. We have to be stronger in our iman, in ourselves, to understand when we're talking, as long as we're not being derogatory to our deen or doing anything wrong for that deen, then we have to teach in a way we have to teach, and we have to stay strong. Like, it's like it's not to say you can't go in a church as a Muslim. You can go in a church if you understand why you're in the church. If you understand certain things you hear, you can't take on. If you understand you're in there to understand what they're coming from in there. If you're trying to get some part of Isa, Jesus Christ, he has a message. He's the messenger. So get the message. You know, but we got to keep that for another. You know what I mean? Because we're going into it. Yeah, but
that's a big one.
As I say, I wanted to jump on here to give a little. You know what I mean? Give a little insight into, like, it's not just that racism that's happened to me since I've lived in Wiltshire. There's been a few other like racist acts, and we have to deal with it as men, as family, together, as one. And what I saw yesterday was too much for me.
And I think one final thing for me, I'm not saying anything else after this, but just the fact that people think and will say, oh, things are so much better here now, it's not like that anymore. It is very much so the same. The racist level has not changed. It is hidden well now. Yeah. It is different. It is still there. It's still the same thing. It's just you can't get away with what used to be done then. So you have a hidden way of doing it now. And that is the realness of it. And that's what I got from, that's what we get from everything. So from my assault in the comic book shop, the racism was trying to be hidden in the gang mentality and in the service I received. The racism was hid from the police, but then it was shown by the police in how they treated me and mistreated me during and after the incident. Yeah, they, to the point of being on the train, we were misjudged there incorrectly and misjudged by the drunkards who must have thought that we were quiet people and whatever, and mistaken by the police. And even to the point of watching the live video yesterday, there's a lot of mistakes and misunderstanding into what Muslims believe in and what Muslims act and should be acting like. So yeah, let's bring England back to as one. Yeah, and when I say as one, recognizing anyone that's in England is as one, and some of these people we are talking about getting rid of actually are here for their safety even. Let's settle on that. So yeah, thank you for joining SJ Cartier Limited Combos, and I'll see you again.